Hello and welcome back to the BS podcast. My name is Braden. My co-host here, Sam.
How's
Say
everybody doing?
hello.
Hello, hello.
It's a wonderful Wednesday here, nice and dreary like it normally is. So last night was a great game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess we'll wrap. I guess we'll start with last week was supposed to be about we were talking about you know our predictions and stuff, but
Yep.
however our audio got corrupted a little bit
Mm.
and didn't show up or whatever. So
I don't know if it was necessarily corrupted and I just kind of screwed up and didn't get it right.
yeah,
But
sometimes you get tech problems. It's
but
okay
it
though.
is what it is. Like that's the thing. Like I literally did nothing to change like the recording program and it just the default when I loaded it up, it just wasn't recording audio, so I guess I don't know, but whatever. Should be fixed now, so we should be good.
Yep. So we're gonna try to just recap what we were talking about last week. We
Mm-hmm.
talked a little bit about the finals and that we were gonna say that this would be our last podcast or not last podcast, last podcast about basketball
At least
because
until like October, yeah.
yeah until like October now because finals are now over.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know if there was gonna be a game 7, but there's not gonna be one now
Nope.
because the 2021 NBA champions are the Bucks. Let's
Milwaukee
go
Bucks.
Bucks.
There we go.
So yeah, I dropping a 50 bomb from Giannis last night, man. That game was
Mm-hmm.
crazy. It
Yep.
was it was a good game to watch. It was close right till the end, to the fourth quarter, where the Bucks or the Suns kind of, I wouldn't say. I mean, they kind of threw because they turned the ball over like three separate times, like
Mm-hmm.
over and over again at the end there,
Yeah.
and they couldn't keep up with the. It was then it got to 6 points, and it was just rough for them. So. But
Mm-hmm.
Giannis was putting on a show, even with like Drew Holiday went 4 for 19. Like my man was on something yesterday. He hit all except for I think one free throw, which is unheard of because that man
He went he
that
went
man had misses.
17 of 19, so
So he missed two. I think he missed
yeah.
the last one where he got put sent to the foul to stop the time.
Yeah.
But
I want to see.
yeah, he was right until like this 2 minute mark at the end of the game. There he was I think 13 for 14. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, man,
Yeah.
I literally I called it in the first quarter. As soon as I saw Giannis hit three free throws in a row or whatever it was, I
Mm-hmm.
was like, they're gonna
He
win this game
he's
because
he's
Giannis is
on.
hitting his free throws.
Yeah, he's on. So,
So yeah, I mean, I think it was a good series. Oh, I enjoyed it as a casual fan. I know that there was some hit or miss about the refs being a little buck-sided.
mm-hmm.
I think there was that one guy whose stats like with Chris Paul is that he's never let Chris Paul win a game or something like that.
Scott Foster in the playoffs, Chris Paul is like 0 and 13 or something in games that Scott Foster has officiated. Now, I mean, we know Chris Paul doesn't like Scott Foster, and we know Scott Foster, I don't think, is a big fan of Chris Paul either. But I don't know if we can chalk it up just to Scott Foster. I will say, however, and I'm not saying that this is like why Milwaukee won or lost these games, but in like the last 3 games, the Bucks took 10 more free throws
Yeah,
in each game than the
I
Suns.
mean, yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to win a game when the refs are not helping you either. So, but I still think even without the refs, it was still a good game. And the Suns, I hope Chris Paul plays one more year. I don't think he'll retire,
No,
but
I
I'm
don't think he
hoping he
will
won't.
either. I mean, he kind of
Um,
he killed it this year. Other
and
than
I hope he stays in Phoenix because
well,
I think
I think he's got like a player option, but it's worth like $40 million or something. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna opt into that because if he opted out, I don't think he'd get $40 million on like the open market.
he doesn't
Um,
need more money either. Like, I
he
mean,
doesn't.
maybe he wants more, but like I think if he just stays in Phoenix, he'll have a better shot because that team will be more cohesive. Is that the word I'm looking for? More put together, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't know what they were missing. I feel like in the playoffs there at the last 4 games, it just felt like Chris Paul wasn't shooting well, maybe.
Well, he played pretty damn well in game
Maybe it
six
was
here.
Booker because I know like I think
Well,
game 4 they couldn't buy a three to save their life,
Booker dropped
and
like 42 in game 4, I think. Game four and
was it
games four
was it
and
game
five.
5?
Games 4 and 5, he dropped 40+ points.
Maybe it was game 3 then.
Yeah,
I
it
know
was
one of the
probably game
games that
3.
the Suns couldn't like literally buy a 3 for their
Well,
life.
he also didn't
Either
play.
could the Bucks though.
He didn't play well last night. He kind of sucked last night.
And then
Didn't-
Ayton got into foul trouble early, so that was kind of rough.
I think people like Ayton had a really hot start to the playoffs, and like I'm a victim of this recency bias shit as well. I think people kind of jumped on his back a little bit too quickly. Like everyone was like, "Oh, he's found his groove now," but like
He's that's his first time ever being.
he's a
Literally.
good player. He's a good player, but like if you're saying he's anything after these playoffs, he's nothing more than an average center right now in my mind. And like again,
I don't think so. I think
I
it just comes with experience at that point. I think he's a really great center. I just think he fumbled a little bit because I mean, again, that's his first ever playoffs, and he got all the way to the finals. That's got to be a lot of emotion that you're riding, and I can only imagine.
Yeah, there's definitely a
how-
lot of nerves, but
I don't know. I think he has what it takes to be one of the greatest centers. I just think he needs to maybe not be as aggressive and get into foul trouble as much as he did, because I know in the last few games there he got into foul trouble pretty early. He had like
Yeah.
3 in the first half.
yeah.
So it kind of makes it hard for your coach to play around your minutes when you could literally be out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed like literally he didn't play like I don't think he played I think he played like 2 or 3 minutes of the third quarter, and then he was on the bench. But they had another really good kid there, Cam Johnson. He's a life force, but I think just Bobby Portis. I called it, by the way. I think Bobby Portis just put something into that team, bro. He just made their energy so high, and then Giannis scoring 50 points. And then I was watching the end part and just hearing the crowd chant for everybody. I was like, "Oh, that's so cool." It just feels good to have a team that actually wins something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like baseball, basketball, even like I guess you could say I'm a Buffalo Sabres fan because I like Buffalo Bills, but like I don't really care about hockey. But like
Who do you
No.
root for in baseball?
the Mets.
Oh, the Mets. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, they were close a few years ago, but
they were not terrible last year, from what I remember.
I mean,
Granted, I don't really watch baseball, but I mean, I kind of like watch the highlights. I don't really watch in depth. I guess I think baseball's pretty boring.
I'm trying to get more into baseball. The Mets are at the top of their division. I know that.
Yeah. I
Like,
think they're
this year.
doing pretty good this year. I don't think they'll be able to. I don't know what the
They're
word
not
is.
a
I don't
World
think they'll be-
Series team.
Yeah, I don't think they're a World Series team yet because they have just so from the games I did watch, they had pretty bad offense, but their pitching staff is pretty good. Like
Yeah.
DeGrom is fucking nuts. That
Well,
man.
Yeah, I mean, DeGrom's absurd. And then their big free agent, Francisco Lindor, has been defensively fantastic, but
Is
hitting...
he either shortstop?
Yes. He is their shortstop. They just signed him from the Indians this last year, and he was pretty big. I mean, they gave him a ton of money. So, I mean,
like baseballs are the most overpaid players in I think ever.
no, it's
Like,
basketball. It's 100% basketball.
I know, but I'm like to get paid that much amount of money that baseball players are paid. I mean, I know it takes a lot of skill, but like at least
Well,
I
the
don't know how to
length of
explain.
the length of the contracts in baseball are certainly
they're like
uh
4 or 5 year contracts, right?
well, no, that's basketball. Basketball's like
Oh.
4 to 5 years. Baseball's like 10 to 12. Like if you're a really good player, you're gonna get signed for like 10.
Jesus.
You're gonna get signed for like 10 years. Like, I think
Why would you? I mean, I guess like if you're getting paid that much money, I guess even if your team sucks, you're gonna take it. I guess, right?
yes. Let me get his contract up because I'm pretty sure Lindor got like a 10-year deal. Actually, I may be wrong about that, but
I think I know DeGrom got paid.
no,
quite a bit, right?
Lindor signed a 10-year, $341 million deal with the
Wow.
Mets, so he's locked up for 10 years.
I mean, there's supposed to be locked up. Like Detroit. I think, yeah,
Yeah.
Detroit, and that's really about all I know. That was a bad team.
Mm.
uh, but I think this is a good. That was a good series.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought it was gonna go all seven, but as soon as like I said, I think we said it
The other
well, what
day.
would have been the other
Yeah.
podcast, but the other day we said that if the Phoenix lose at home, the series is over. I just
Hmm.
think whatever it was a good that was a good game too. That Phoenix game at home or at
Yeah.
Phoenix was a good series or a good match. I think it was quite entertaining,
Hmm.
but I think the Bucks got a little help there from the refs again, where a little bit of foul.
Well, I mean, also Milwaukee clearly all playoffs long, and I believe you said this the last time we spoke. They are a team that rides the momentum,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
they had all the momentum going into Game 6. So like, frankly, I would have been more surprised if they lost last night than them
oh
winning.
yeah, for
Like,
especially and I said I'm pretty sure they've like lost maybe one game at home. I'm pretty sure they lost only one game this entire series at home.
the entire
And
playoffs, yeah, it was against
yeah,
Game 1 against Atlanta was the only game
yeah.
they lost at home, all playoffs.
And I just I just Giannis the way when he come after a win, dude, that man just the next game he's always just on it, you know. So it's good to see that they after the two I think it was two stuffs in a row. Um yeah, it was two stuffs because last year the bubble and the year before that when they got knocked out I think first round. But or the second round maybe. But I think it's finally good to see. You know, I think Giannis needs to. He's a great, like obviously one of our greatest players. I just think if he works a little bit more on his dribbling and like playmaking, maybe he'll be able to be even like a KD level forward. Because watching that man dribble the ball is kind of rough. Like if he's
He's
not near,
it, in my mind, he's already a KD level forward. I mean, after
KD just has
this.
a better shooting prowess.
Well, yeah,
Powers,
but like, I mean,
prowess.
we've known that for forever, and Giannis is still, in my mind, the top three player in the NBA. Like the top three players right now are LeBron, KD, and Giannis. And
I agree.
frankly, I don't care what
Uh,
order you have them in.
I think it goes. I personally think the best players in the league right now, as of this year, are Giannis, KD, and Steph Curry. I feel like that's top three. I think if you do top five, LeBron's in that. I just think since LeBron's a little older now, that I think Steph Curry with his shooting power is just a little bit better than LeBron right now. But that's just me, I
I
guess.
mean, that's fair. I think a lot of people are going to have the same top fives. Uh, my my top three are still LeBron, KD, and Giannis. And frankly, if you could ask me on any day, and probably my order would change. Like,
It
like
all depends on the year too that they have.
right, but like if you asked me today who's the best player in the world, I'm gonna say Giannis because he just dropped a 50-point game and won the NBA Finals, and he's a two-time MVP, and he's just and a Defensive Player of the Year. Like he's absurd. But like in 2 weeks, after the hype has cooled down, maybe I'll just be like, LeBron's still the best player in the world, or maybe KD, and then like top five, I think you gotta add Steph, and then that's where it gets tough. I mean, after those four, like I don't really consider Anthony Davis anymore. I never really truly did. I don't know why sports media has been
I
trying to
think
push him so hard as a top five player.
I think you gotta add Luka Doncic in
I,
there if you're
I
doing top five.
I'm definitely leaning Luca. Definitely leaning Luca, but at the same time, I feel like I have to give Jokic some consideration. I mean, that
That's
dude
true.
was that
Yep.
dude was absurd this year.
Yep.
And I
I agree.
mean, I don't know if you can move him up to top five after one MVP season, but like
I think I would
he
say he's top
was
10,
oh
but
easy
I don't
top
think he's
10,
top.
easy top
The only reason
10.
I say I don't think he's top five is because I mean he's a great player. He's a great shooter. I don't know. I just don't think he has the same maybe like finesse or ability or athleticism that LeBron, KD, Giannis, Steph Curry all have. I think Luka just edges him out there because he's a I don't know. I personally just think I guess maybe that he's just edges him out with playmaking ability and all that kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't know. I think that he. Oh, I mean, overall, he's a great player. So, I mean, I guess you're right that that fifth spot would be hard. But I definitely think if you were to rate people as of this season right now, who would be your one through, I guess, 1 through 5? If you had to put people on a list right now, 1 through 5.
Well, I said if you asked me today who's the best player in the world, I'd say Giannis. So I'll put Giannis
Okay,
at 1, LeBron
I agree.
2, KD's at 3, Steph is 4, and then 5 is so hard.
But you just got Kyrie Irving. You
Nah,
got James
no.
Harden.
Kyrie's not even top 10.
No,
No, he's not.
Hmm.
I'm sorry.
I think he's pretty good.
I like Kyrie, but he's not top 10 for me.
I think he's
James
above
Harden is definitely somebody that I'd consider, but I'd probably pick Luka and Jokic over him.
Yeah,
So
I think this
and
year.
probably even Joel
because-
Embiid over James Harden.
Oh, dude, I completely forgot. How did I forget about Embiid?
Um,
Oh man, that's so tough.
so
'Cause, like,
I'd say Giannis, LeBron, KD, Steph, and then I think honestly I'd go Luka, and then if you asked me to keep going, I'd go Jokic, Embiid, Harden, probably like Bradley Beal, and then
John Morant. I feel like John Morant's up there somewhere. Maybe Jimmy Butler.
not top 10 yet, and I think Jimmy Butler kind of went down to earth after last year. Maybe Jason Tatum's in my top 10.
Nah, I feel like he also rode that hype train of the bubble season and just kind of
Not as much as
pittered out.
Nah, him to me is he to me is very good. I mean, actually, you know what? Maybe I'd put Booker. No, oh my God,
How do you forget about Chris Paul and Booker, my dog?
no, I'm forgetting about Kawhi Leonard.
Oh yeah, he
Oh
was
my-
injured though. So can you really
Yeah,
count him?
I can though.
For-
I
I
can
guess you can
because
for the whole
prior
season.
prior to his injury, he was absolutely killing it in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think
So-
they could have knocked out the Suns if he was
So actually, I'm gonna go Giannis, LeBron, KD, Steph, Kawhi, Luka, Jokic, Embiid, Harden, and then Bradley Beal probably is my top 10.
playing. Okay, I think my top 10 would be. I'm gonna start off with Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
I've said since the beginning of this podcast that I'm a big Giannis fan. The only reason I like the Bucks is because of Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
I would put Steph Curry as 2.
Mm.
Maybe KD is 2, and then Steph, and then LeBron at 4. I think just
Okay.
LeBron's age is getting to him, and he can't carry a team like he used to be, and he's trying to do what he used to do, and it's just not working for him anymore. I think
Mhm.
he needs to fall into that more playmaking role instead of trying to carry a team on his back. You know
Well,
what I'm trying to say?
I think he's one of the best playmakers in the league already.
Oh
It's
yeah, I agree. I just
I think
I
I
pr-
think you'd if LeBron had a better supporting cast around him,
Yes.
and I know that this is like always what the LeBron stands say, and it annoys me, but at the same time, it's like it's partially true because with AD out, LeBron literally has no one. Like Dennis Schroeder didn't play well,
I
Kyle Kuzma didn't play well at all either. KCP, I mean, is that his next best player? Like so.
And they got rid of playoff Rondo, right? I'm pretty sure he didn't play the entire. He didn't play for
Rondo-
the Lakers, right?
Yeah, no, Rondo was gone after last year. He signed with Atlanta, and then like halfway through the year, he was traded to
And they
the
lost
to the
Dwight.
Clippers.
I mean, like any supporting cast they had off that bench kind of left, and the ones that stayed or they got kind of faltered in the playoffs against the Suns. Granted, they didn't really have anybody to play against Aiton in that center position,
And
right? 'Cause I don't think
LeBron
McGee
wasn't
stayed-
even like 100% healthy either. Like
No, I
AD
think he had a
was
knee
out,
injury,
but
right?
yeah, LeBron was hurt. So it's like
I mean, yeah. So like, and I think that again, not to be like to beat a dead horse, but I think that's more of his age kind of deal coming in again.
I think that's definitely
Um,
part of it because I mean through the first
I don't want to say like he's terrible now because
No.
he's.
no, and I
but
don't think
I
I don't think
definitely
that's what
think
you're
that-
saying.
I definitely think he just needs to I mean, did they have like were they salary capped or anything like that? Is that why they couldn't?
They have no money. Like everybody's like,
But they
and
also signed LeBron and AD to huge
that's
contracts, which I
that's
mean, that
that's
doesn't
why they
also
have
help
no
their own
money.
case.
That's why they
Yeah.
have no money.
So I mean, like they
Everybody's
kind of
like,
shot themselves in the foot after the first year.
well, that's
But who
why
knows? It's the Lakers, and they can.
when they initially traded for Anthony Davis, I was like, this could pay off for them in the short term, but in the long term,
Yeah.
I actually think it's going to hurt them because I really like Anthony Davis, but if you're talking about a player's ability to stay healthy, Anthony Davis is one of the worst players in the league at staying healthy. He
Yeah.
can't do it, and like I'm not going to blame him for that. It's not his fault that his body can't keep up with him, but like it's gonna be a problem, and it's
Maybe
already
they should
shown
do with.
to be a problem.
And I guess that maybe what they should do with AD there is they should do what they were doing with Kawhi and Paul George last year, where they would play them only every other game or something like that. You remember what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? How
Mm-hmm.
they and the fans were getting mad because they never saw them on the same floor. But
Yeah,
like, I mean,
load management, the term. Yeah.
but yeah, but like you, especially when you're getting older, you're gonna have to like think about it because I
Well,
think this last year was like the first year LeBron didn't miss like a bunch of games because no one a while ago he was like missing like every. Sorry, I'm
he
hiccuping, but I
I
think he was
think
missing like every
I
game.
think until like literally last year he had never played all 82 games of a season, and I think last year he played all 82. Yes. No. 20 oh no. 2017, 2018, his last year with Cleveland, he played all 82 games. But
I mean, he had to though.
yeah, other than that, he came very close in 2009. He played 81 games, but other than that, he's never played like every single game of the regular season. And you're right, in the last few years, like it's clear that his body is catching up with him because
Mhm.
in 2018, 2019, he played 55 games. In 2019, 2020, he played 67. And in 2020, 2021, this year, he played 45. So it's like, we're not used to seeing LeBron get hurt and be out for extended periods of time, but like, that's going to start to be a normal thing for him, I think. And to what you're saying, it's like, with like load management, I don't know if he necessarily needs to load manage, but he needs a player beside him. Like AD's fantastic, but the main problem with AD is that he also can't stay healthy. So if LeBron goes down or isn't 100% and is still playing, he can't always look to that number 2 guy and be like, "Hey, you're on the court with me," because AD's not on the court.
Yeah, because he's just. I mean, that's just due to maybe it's like the draft he's got to look into there. But like just when you shoot yourself in the foot with those huge contracts, you can only do so much. But I think my top. Continuing what I was gonna say, I say so. I think 4 is LeBron,
Mm-hmm.
and then my top 5 has got to be is Luca. I think
Mm-hmm.
I just there's just something about Luca that just plays a little bit better. I would even say Luca, maybe like Chris Paul, because that man he's great too. And then 6 is Booker, and then I would have to put Kawhi Leonard at 7. Then 8 is Luca, 9 is Embiid, and I think 10 is Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel I like Jokic, but I just don't think he. I don't. I don't think he has what it takes to carry a team by himself, and I think that showed in. I showed this year in the playoffs against the Suns, where without Jamal Murray, he kind of suffers because all you gotta do now is just guard Jokic. In like the Bucks, obviously Giannis doesn't carry the team by himself, but the game 6 there, he basically carried the entire game by himself with those 50 points. He scored half of the points that they
Yeah,
needed.
essentially half their points.
So, I mean, I guess maybe it's not necessarily he has what it takes to carry the team, but more or less when it's time to be that all-star or the person who's going to show up and decide this game is now over. I don't think he is that guy. Now, if Murray was there with him, I think him and Jamal Murray have a great thing going, and I'm excited to see next year when they're both healthy.
Mm-hmm.
that I can't wait. It'll be fun to watch both of them play because you can't really guard both of them. Like they're a deadly force. So
Mm-hmm. I think you pointed it out yourself that like the counter argument that I'm gonna make here to like the Jokic can't, or rather maybe not yet is able to carry a team. Um, I think Giannis absolutely carried last night, and that is true. But that doesn't change the fact that Drew and Chris were still on the floor. So they're
yeah,
players
so you
that
have to be
there
worrisome
are
about them.
players that Phoenix has to be concerned about. And
Hmm.
yes, Jokic had like Michael Porter Jr. on the floor with him, but he's not going to draw the same amount of attention that like a Jamal Murray is. So
Yeah,
like defensively, Phoenix was like, okay, we'll focus on Jokic. We can live with guys like Michael Porter Jr. and Will Barton putting up points. Like we can live with that. But like if Jamal Murray was on that floor, I think it would have like even if he performed poorly, a team would still need to be like, okay, he can heat up at any second, any moment. Jamal Murray can start to play better. So I think
I
that's
just
the key
I think
difference.
I think Jokic is one of the most consistent players. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's real. I think no matter what, he's gonna put up 20 some odd points, no matter what game it is. I think he's a really super great and consistent player that you can always count on doing his job. I just don't think he has what it. I don't think he, without an additional component like Jamal Murray, unfortunately with injury, but I don't think he by himself can just decide this entire series is now over because I'm the best player here. And I mean, he's a good player. Nothing against him. I just don't think him by himself he can be like LeBron. I just top 10 current players. Kawhi Leonard can all basically decided a lot of those games were now over. That's what he did in Toronto. He's like, okay, time to be the best player in the league. So I mean, what do you? Uh, I mean, it's not much you can do. He's a center too, so it's not like he can really, you know, this. I mean, then again, Joel Embiid's a center, and he basically said that. So I don't know.
Well,
Maybe it's just a different mindset I'm thinking about, but
I I have to be honest. If Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton weren't on the Bucks, I don't think I
I
think the
think
Bucks would have
Giannis
been
would have
like a
been.
first round exit.
I think Giannis would have been a great. I think if without the supporting cast of at least Chris, um, and that was evident of the 2 years they got knocked out early before the conference finals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, even with Chris, Giannis would have been MVP level caliber. I just don't
Mm-hmm.
think I think he would have been like Jokic, where they would always been knocked out early and they would never been able to make it to the finals or at least the conference finals.
We
I think it all depends on your support that you as a
mm-hmm.
great player can have because
Mm-hmm.
if you're the only good player on the field, all you got to do is guard the one player.
Right. We
Because
said
sure,
this. We said this the last time we spoke in the unfortunate audio mishap. If Jamal Murray were healthy, I firmly believe, and I believe you agreed with me, the Nuggets would have been the team from the
yeah,
Western Conference that made the finals.
that's what I was trying to say is like with
Yeah.
Jokic, if Jokic had Jamal Murray or somebody like Jamal Murray, that he would be able to easily knock out the Suns. I just think that team is more glued together.
Mm-hmm.
They're
I think they're deeper.
yeah, they have
They've got better
a
role
great bench.
players.
They've got
Yeah.
good, everybody knows how to do their job and do it well.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Paul Millsap coming off it's Paul Millsap.
Yeah.
Well, Millsap. He's a veteran there. He has a lot of experience teaching those kids how to play. So, I just think unfortunately, since Jokic is literally the only person who could really score on that team,
Mm-hmm.
that it's just. I mean, good on them. They took it to 5 or 6. They took it to 6 games, right? So I mean,
No, they got swept.
they got swept.
They
I
got
thought they won at
swept.
least one.
No, they got swept.
Maybe it
Um,
was the game of the series before that, right?
if Jamal Murray were healthy, they would have gone 7 with Phoenix, but I think they would have won. Um,
I think it could have been done in 5, honestly, but
mm,
that's just because Jamal Murray, man. I guess we're talking more about Jamal Murray than we're talking about like Jokic there. See, like that's what I'm trying to say. Like
well,
Jokic is
he's
great.
such a big piece. Like he's so
Yeah,
important to Jokic
yeah,
thriving.
I got
Just
you,
like
got you.
Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday are so important to Giannis thriving. But
I agree, but I think this year has been really fun to watch.
Hmm.
I'm excited for next year to see where pieces fall for certain teams. You know, like Miami, what's their next move? Because like that's
I
like
don't know
that
what
team.
Miami does, frankly. I
Yeah, I
mean,
don't know. I don't know
they've
either.
got some
They,
upcoming free agents like
I really think
Goran Dragic.
not having Jay Crowder really hurt them there, and I think he was a good piece to help Jimmy Butler not be the only person have to show up. But I don't know. It's just gonna have to the youngins that they got there with Harrow and
Well,
Robinson.
it's clear that like last year, a lot of like Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, like they were performing above their pedigree, and it's like everyone was like, okay, so if they can play to that level, or because they're young, oh boy, they're gonna get even better. Like everyone was like, okay, we'll see the Heat competing in the East again, but like
I mean, and it's not like to say like they're a
Tyler,
terrible team.
no,
I
they're
just think
not.
they don't have the experience
But like
of
Tyler Hero took a step back. In my
uh,
mind, Kendrick Nunn took a step back. Duncan
Duncan
Robinson was
Robinson
like teams
average.
teams figured him out. They knew what he was doing off
Hmm.
screens and stuff. So it's just they weren't. Everybody
I
started
think
to understand, and the young guys kind of like
yeah.
lost the element of surprise. And
Same thing with like the Celtics. You know, I just feel like unfortunately Jalen Brown getting injured. Right, I'm pretty sure who was injured in that
yeah,
team.
Jalen Brown.
It
Yeah.
kind of hurt their chances. But
Oh, easily.
I don't. I think their coaching. I think as proven with him being promoted to GM instead of their head coach now.
I
But showing
really
that
I really don't like that move.
I
If
don't
I'm
really
being
understand it either.
if I'm
Doesn't
being
make any
completely
sense to me.
honest, like I'm just like
It makes zero sense to me. Why
like
would you put a guy who?
Brad Stevens is a good coach, but you never went to the finals with him, and you reward him with a promotion.
Yeah, I don't. Kind of
Like
whack.
I don't really get that. Like if you're gonna overhaul the team, like if if Danny Ainge is gonna step down, at that point you clean house with your staff. I don't understand why you promote the guy that couldn't get it done with a
And who knows?
pretty
Maybe
good
he's.
roster.
Yeah,
So
who knows? Maybe he is more of a GM person and not like a hands-on head coach. So maybe that would fit his role. I mean, we'll have to see. But I don't really like the move either. I don't really understand it. With teams like the Knicks, they were really close to have on something great there. I just don't think they have the supporting cast.
well, Julius
And
Randle can't be a number one player.
yeah, and they
He's a
expected
number
Julius Randle
two.
to be too much of what he was to be.
Yeah.
He's a good player. I just don't think he's the star player of that
No,
team. I don't.
he's not. No, no, no.
Uh, that I think is all going to come down to free agency. I hope the Suns stay together as they are if they have the money to. Some of the bench players I guess you can get rid of, but like Payne, Jay Crowder, Booker, CP3 needs. If CP3 leaves, I don't think that team stays as a number 2 or 1 seed in the
No.
West anymore.
CP3 is literally what took them to the
Mhm.
playoffs.
Just his experience alone, probably. I think we said this already, but I think CP3 just brings something to that team where it makes them.
So their expiring contracts are frankly not even that concerning. Like Chris Paul is gonna opt in. I believe he's got an option. I think he does, but like their most notable expiring contract is Cameron Payne, and
And they need to sign it. He was a good
yeah, he's a good
bench.
piece for him.
He's a
and
he's a good piece for him. Yeah.
they'll probably keep him, but I don't know. I don't. But like Cameron Johnson still got a couple years left. Mikal Bridges is on the books next year, guaranteed. DeAndre Ayton's still there. Jay Crowder signed a 3-year deal, so he'll still be there.
What's Booker's contract look like? Because I know
Booker's
if
locked
they,
up for. They gave him a max deal last
Okay.
summer, I think, so he's locked up for like 4 years.
So I think last year said that this is like their last chance before he decides to look somewhere else, and I'm kind of glad that they got there because I don't know who I would put Booker on to make them. I mean, I guess maybe the Knicks, but I don't know who else you would put where you would put Booker to make them a great team.
You mean
'Cause I
like
don't
if
think-
another team went after Booker? You're saying
Yeah, if they didn't make it to the playoffs this year, I think he would have left the Phoenix Suns.
requested a trade?
Yeah, I just
Um,
maybe New Orleans and play with Zion.
I mean, I don't know.
Maybe up.
they
maybe
have-
up in even put him in the Nuggets. With
I
Jamal Murray. I
just-
think Jamal Murray plays shooting guard.
Well,
or maybe he
the
pushed.
problem is that I don't think like hold on. If the Pelicans wanted Devin Booker, they'd have to give up Brandon Ingram to make the money work. Or what?
I think that's fine. I
No.
think you get a significant worth trade if you trade Brandon Ingram for Devin Booker.
I mean, actually, the best way for New Orleans to do well, frankly, I don't want to give up Brandon Ingram. I think Brandon Ingram's fantastic, but
I still think Devin Booker's a better trade, though.
well, he's a better player, no doubt. But I think if you were looking to get Devin Booker, it's not exactly a lateral move, but to me, it's very very close. Because I mean, Brandon Ingram averaged 24, 5, and 5 this year. I mean, he was very good, and it's like Devin Booker probably averaged like 28, 5, and 5. So like, if I'm the Pelicans, I'm trading like Eric Bledsoe, and maybe you get rid of Steven Adams. So it's like Steven Adams, Eric Bledsoe, and probably a few picks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But like, that would be like if Phoenix like just gave up. Like, that's not the best offer that they could get for Devin Booker. I guess they'd probably require Brandon Ingram, and at that point,
I still think
I would say for the
Pelicans are better off.
Pelicans, it would not be worth it. But I mean,
I don't know.
we can disagree on that.
Yeah,
But
that's all theory. It's never gonna happen. But like next year, or especially talking about next year, I really hope Klay Thompson is fully healthy again.
Please stay healthy, Klay. Oh
Like,
my God.
that'd be. I think the West is gonna be so much fun to watch. I think the East is gonna be kind of stuck with the Bucks and the Bucks, the Nets, and the Sixers. I don't really think any other team.
I don't
Maybe
know
the
what
Celtics.
the hell happens to the Sixers. I don't know.
I think they just need to get rid of Ben Simmons or put him in a different position. But I think we talked about that last time too. Is I think
Yeah.
Ben Simmons, if he's in a different position, because he's a great forward. I just don't think he's a good guard in shooting power. He's like a Giannis, right? You're not expecting Giannis to do You're not expecting Giannis to do threes. Oh my God, if I can speak.
Shoot threes.
You're not expecting him to shoot threes on constant, but I mean, you're hoping he does once in a while and he makes it or whatever. Then if he doesn't, that's fine. But if he drives to the paint and he keeps scoring, I think that's great.
Yeah.
But if you're expecting him to play the guard position, which you're kind of expecting to, either hit deep twos or threes, be a floor spacer or whatever, I don't think he fits that role. I think he's like a power forward or small forward area. I think if the Sixers get somebody to fill that guard position and put him in the forward, I think that team is significantly better. But that's just me. I'm a casual fan, so maybe I'm missing something, but
No, not really. I mean, I don't know if Ben Simmons is necessarily Philly's biggest problem. In fact, I actually think he's not. I think he's just gotta not play the position he's playing, like you said. I think Philly's biggest problem is Tobias Harris. That is 100% Philly's biggest problem. Tobias Harris is a good player. He's a good player. He averaged 19 points, shot 39% from three. Like, you know what? He was good. He's also the highest paid player on that team for the next 4 years.
Over Embiid?
He is making more money than Embiid, and he is making more money than Ben Simmons.
That's kind of crazy.
Next year, Tobias Harris gets $36 million, and the last year of his contract, he gets $41 million.
Jesus. That man made bank off of doing nothing. Crazy.
I don't know why Philly signed him to this extension, but they did, and it's terrible.
That was before Doc Rivers, right?
Yeah, before Doc Rivers.
That was, I think, during the bubble season, I think.
It was the season before that. They signed him to like a massive 5-year max extension. And I was like, what on earth are you doing? Because like he's good, but he's not worth that money, and he's making it harder for your team to like sign the free agents that you need to sign to place around guys like Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid who can't shoot, to bring in those guys that can, because like
making it harder to build around your 2-star players with a player that's not a star player, in my opinion.
He's a star player.
He's a good player.
He's overpaid.
He's a good player. I don't think he's max contract worthy.
No, he's not. And if they could get rid of his contract and bring in like, I don't know, like who else is like overpaid but would be like better for them? Uh, but also makes the money work. Like I was thinking Buddy Hield, but like Buddy Hield doesn't. The money doesn't work exactly. You need Sacramento to throw in another piece, and I just don't know who that would be. Sacramento Kings salary cap. Oh, you could do like I don't know if Philly would want that. Okay, so no, Buddy Hield's making about 22 next year, so you'd need like 14-ish $million, I guess. Yeah, but I don't know if the Kings would do that then. Cuz like the way to make the money work the best would be like Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley in a trade.
Mm-hmm.
And like I know the Kings aren't too high on Marvin Bagley anymore cuz he's struggled a lot early on in his career, but like I don't know if they'd trade him away. I don't know. But
I don't know
to me, Tobias Harris is the biggest problem in Philadelphia. He's
I
overpaid.
agree.
He's a good player, but he's overpaid to all hell. And
No, like who's their so who's their starting lineup, right? It's Embiid, Ben Simmons,
it's Embiid,
Tobias Harris.
Yep. Probably when healthy, Danny Green is definitely in the starting lineup. And like Matisse Thybulle, probably.
Okay, so why don't they do it like this, bro? Why don't they put Seth Curry as one of their starting guards?
Well, he was in the playoffs. Because Danny Green got hurt.
Oh yeah, okay. Maybe then. Yeah, I guess the only problem there I see is then it's got to be, man, unless when Danny Green's healthy now, I guess you do Seth Curry's, Danny Green.
Well, the problem is Danny Green's contract expired. I don't know if he's coming back. He probably won't.
I wouldn't go back. I probably won't. Yeah.
George Hill's probably not going to come back.
I feel bad for George Hill. I really like that guy. He deserves a lot, I think, in my opinion. I think he's if not a good starter, I think he's definitely a good six-man off the bench.
Oh, he's a fantastic bench player.
Mm-hmm.
High value, definitely.
You know, I mean, maybe come back to the Bucks. Just saying. We'd really like to see you back at the Bucks, George Hill. But yeah, I think while we're on the topic of being overpaid, I think we should wrap up basketball right there. However, staying on the topic of overpaid, did you hear about Packer situation for football?
Oh, the Aaron Rodgers got like this contract offer that would have made him like the highest paid player in football, and he declined it.
Yes.
Yeah, that.
Good on him. He's Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't need the fucking money. They need the. I think maybe that's the wrong gesture. Maybe man, I think they should have stuck around, like giving him a good contract, but more or less offering like having his input. Because I know like his biggest thing is not having any input, because like they didn't draft anything for him last year. They didn't draft anything on the I mean, they drafted the defense was okay, but it's not like a star defense, and that's probably one of their biggest weaknesses, other than having like another weapon on the side of Adam or Devontae, because Devontae's a really good wide receiver, but when you have only Devontae guard or being on the field, I mean, who else is on that set? Like Devontae, and there's that one other dude that they like, but he's not really he's more of a slot. He's not like a deep threat. So, and the running game with Aaron Jones is good, but I think it comes down to they need to focus on the defense there.
Aaron Jones is also a little overrated, in my opinion. Like, he's a good running back, but he's a little overrated.
Yeah, I think a lot of that offensive line really made him what he is. I mean, it makes any good running back, I guess, right? With this is a good offensive line, unless you're Derrick Henry.
I'm trying to think. Who are you referring to in their receiving core?
I know it's Adams.
Yeah.
There's one other guy. It's like a really long Marcus something.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I mean, he's
towards the end. Yeah, I mean, he's not like I said, he's not a star player. They like him because I know at the end of the season they were really targeting him a few, because all they were doing is covering Adams. So I mean, it's kind of hard to not be open when, But I think it's gonna come down to. I mean, he said he'll play, right? I'm pretty sure I saw that he said he's gonna play. I just think the issue more or less comes down to the fact that the Packers don't want to let him have any input, which I think is crazy. Why wouldn't you want your star quarterback, the man who's stuck with you through thick and thin, to be?
They're a very old school
It's
organization.
so stupid. Like,
Their
you don't have
mindset
to
is,
take
hey,
his word,
you play football, we'll get the guys around you, and
but they don't.
I know they don't. It's disrespectful, but like,
And he's not saying like, you tell us what you want, we'll get it for you. It's more or less like offering to accept some input. You don't
right,
have to follow what he says.
right,
It's probably just the gesture that is what he wants, Because that's what happened with Deshaun, is that Deshaun wanted just some input, He doesn't want to be the deciding factor, but he just wants to have some input on his team that he's going to be running on the field,
mm-hmm.
right? Like, if you take it, that's fine, but if you don't, like, at least you heard what I had to say. And I think that's really what
Can we just
quarterbacks like
kind of, because you just brought him up, can we just talk about how the Deshaun Watson,
is just no longer a thing.
yeah, where did that scandal go? Like, why is no one talking
NFL's
about it anymore?
NFL is probably just trying to sweep it underneath the
I mean,
bridge.
they definitely are, and I mean,
like, how I have
like how
a
many
lot of
many
problem.
women? Like, wasn't it like 20 women or
It was,
something?
yeah, it started with one, and then all of a sudden it was 20. So I mean, like, it's just kind of coincidence, I guess, maybe, but like, it's kind of like weird that all of a sudden 20 people out of nowhere just decided now that they're gonna throw a fit after he was having a problem with the. I'm not saying anything to disregard the women, but more or less like the organization. Just all of a sudden, Deshaun Watson was getting mad with the organization that he wants to leave and stuff like that. And he requested a trade. Now all of a sudden they're gonna lock him in because he has all these, allegations against him. No one's gonna want to take you because you have these allegations and stuff like that. So I feel like maybe I'm just conspiracy theorying, but who knows? Who knows? All we
I
can
don't
do
know.
is wait to hear the official record.
Right, and I'm not like passing any judgments on Deshaun or on the situation because frankly we don't know
Yeah,
enough yet.
you don't know.
I want to wait and I want to see what happens. I'm more so pissed that it's just no one's talking about it. It's like, why is it not a thing?
Just all of a sudden disappeared after.
It's just gone.
It's because they're making more money off of the Aaron Rodgers headline. So.
Yeah. Well, no. So
yeah.
the NFL doesn't. The NFL is tired of.
They don't want the bad rep anymore.
Yeah, because they employ a lot of shitty people.
I agree. Especially after the Dwayne Haskins thing too, where he was just out in a strip club during COVID, without a mask on or anything like that too. And I think he was doing something else.
Frankly, to be honest, compared to what a lot of NFL players do in their free time, that's pretty fucking tame. Like,
I know. I mean, like murdering people like Ray Lewis. I mean, what can you do?
I still think Haskins is a little bit of a shitbag because he wasn't wearing a mask.
He's definitely a douche. But when you're, it's not like on the level of, I fight dogs or I killed my wife and the glove doesn't fit, so I didn't do it. Or I just killed 2 people. I'm pretty sure Ray Lewis killed 2 people. Is that correct?
Who?
I think Ray Lewis, right? Didn't he kill people?
I think there was like a conspiracy about that, but killed people. Ray Lewis killed people.
I killed.
He had double murder charges. Was he convicted?
Or the Aaron Hernandez, I kill myself because I'm a little bitch and I can't accept what I actually did. Also, didn't he kill himself so that way his daughter would get all his money? Or something like that.
I don't know.
I think that was conspiracy. I don't know.
Didn't pay attention.
We're getting into deep territory where we probably shouldn't be going.
No.
Let's end on a happier note.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Marvel. Okay.
Marvel.
It's this podcast is kind of all over the place. It's we're kind of like making up for lost time from last episode that we did but didn't work.
Yeah.
So sorry for that, but let's end on what we I think we're gonna talk about more next episode as well. Is we're nerds here, so we watch a
Yep.
lot of superhero movies. We watch a
Star
lot of Star
Wars.
Wars, a lot of I personally love Lord of the Rings.
I'm a
Um,
fan. I'm not like a.
have you watched The Hobbit, bro?
I
Like the
have.
Hobbit series?
I have, and
I have
it's
it
like
all on DVD. It's just so good.
the Hobbit movies to me are not as good as the Lord of the Rings movies.
Oh.
I'm sorry, dude. The last Hobbit film is extremely disappointing.
The
That's
third one, I like
yes,
the third one
that's
a lot.
that's at least my opinion. And I will grant you, I actually haven't seen any of them in a while. So
I think
if
the
I
third
watched them
one-
a second or third time, maybe I'd like them more. But I don't know.
I think the reason why I like the third one a lot is because it's just all out chaos and war, maybe. And
Mm.
I like that kind of like feeling like these people don't really know what's going on. All they know is they're fighting for their lives. It just kind of feels like maybe intimate, no, not intimate, more heart racing or something like that. I don't know. I like enjoying watching that kind of movies. I also I watch a lot of the Tom Clancy stuff. I didn't watch the new season, but I watched the first season of Jack Ryan and all that. But Marvel,
Yeah,
stay on Marvel.
yeah,
3 new shows
yep,
came out
Yep.
this last year. Two of them 20 one of them two of them this year, one last year. WandaVision came out first.
yep.
Was kind of a mindfuck, was all over the place for me, and then all of a sudden like it became like a really great show.
Yeah, very good.
And the last episode made me cry. I don't know about you, but the last episode got me because it was like a Tony Stark thing. I really like Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm.
And then we probably should start with spoilers just in case spoilers.
Yep. Spoilers.
Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You said you haven't watched yet.
I have not bothered.
It was
to
good.
Watch it.
Wouldn't say I wouldn't rewatch it probably.
Mhm.
It's a good show, but not like rewatchable. And then there's Loki, which is probably the best show they've put out so far.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Is so
Last
good.
episode was so good.
Yep.
I love the mind fuck that they gave us.
Mm-hmm.
I am kind of worried because time travel fucks with everything.
Yeah.
It makes everything very confusing.
Yep.
But if you do it right, it's gonna be great.
Right.
And I
yeah.
have faith. All I can do is wait and see. But I have faith it's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with how it at least left off. I guess we'll have to wait till the Doctor Strange movie comes out, I think.
I gotta look. Okay. Marvel Cinematic.
I think Doctor Strange or Love and Thunder is the next. I don't remember which one. But I think Tom Hiddleston is a great piece to this universe, and I really hope they keep him canon because they can try to maybe not make him
Well,
canon or whatever. Who knows at this point? But
I
I'm
think he's still
thinking
gonna
they're going to
canon.
be. Yeah.
Okay.
I really love his just.
So I think this is in order because these are TV series.
It's gonna be Love and Thunder,
Okay,
Doctor Strange.
So Black Widow just came out. The next one that's supposed to come out is the Shang-Chi movie.
Oh yeah, that one looks weird. I think
I'm
it's gonna
excited
be good.
though. Then it looks like Eternals, then Spider-Man, then Doctor Strange.
Eternals is gonna be the
Thor.
new Avengers, right?
I don't know if it's the new Avengers, but it's another group of people.
Is it gonna be like the new is that like the new X-Men? All right, is it like that kind of theme?
I
feels
don't really
kinda-
know. I mean, I'll be honest. I love Marvel, and I do pay a lot of attention to it, but I don't have a ton of knowledge on a lot.
I don't either.
A
I
lot
only
of
know
the
what I've
movies that are
watched.
coming in Phase 4. I'm excited for all of it, but I'd be lying if I said oh yeah, I'm super familiar with everything. Shang-Chi is gonna be new for me. The Eternals are gonna
I've
be
never
new.
heard of that name. I never heard of that name either. I
The-
think all these
the
new movies are
TV
gonna be
show,
confusing.
The TV show around Miss Marvel, I'm not familiar with Miss Marvel. However, I'm excited regardless. They're doing towards the end of Phase 4. They're doing Fantastic Four, which I don't know too
Wait,
much about.
another one?
They're doing another reboot of the Fantastic Four.
Are they gonna make them canon this time, or are they just gonna give up?
Well, no, it's gonna be Phase 4, so they're gonna be canon.
Huh.
So
I
we'll
don't know
see
if I'm okay with
how
that
that goes because
the last one wasn't great.
it was terrible. It was actually probably worse than
if
the
they
early
don't
2000s
if they
versions.
don't if they don't cast Dwayne the Rock Johnson as the Rock or the Thing or whatever his name
Yeah, I
is,
think it's a thing.
I'm gonna be upset because why wouldn't you cast the Rock as the Rock?
Mm-hmm.
I think new Spider-Man movie is gonna be good.
I'm
Uh,
so excited.
I think Spider-Man is I mean I'm not really attached to Spider-Man, but I think the movies have been great. I'm kind of don't know how I feel about them trying to make him the new Tony Stark,
I
but I
don't
guess
think
some
they're
of it is
well. They're not the
they're
whole
not and
the
they are
whole
at the same time. I
message.
feel
The
like
whole message at the end of the second film is
is
that
that he isn't.
he isn't Tony Stark and he's not going to be Tony Stark. So just be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's the message. Like he's a teched up version of Spider-Man, sure, because he makes this amazing suit at the end of the second film. But they're not. I don't think they're making him into the new group's Iron Man. Like that's not happening.
No, I know. I don't.
I get
I
it.
understand.
A lot
I'm
of
just
a lot of people are not exactly happy that this version of Spider-Man has this like
yo, hear me out.
abundance of access to this
What
ridiculous
if
tech. But
what if with the multiverse they bring Tony Stark back? Could you imagine the outrage?
nah, Robert Downey Jr.'s done.
I know he's over it. He's a great. He's not over it, but I think it's just his time. I think all those. What are they gonna do with Thor? Because like, are they
I
gonna
mean,
keep Natalie Portman as the new the new Thor, or are they
I
gonna
don't
bring?
know. We're gonna have to see.
They
But
need to
like,
bring him back. I love him. He's so funny.
well, Chris Hemsworth has said that he would literally he would play Thor for as long as they wanted him.
Same thing with Loki, bro. That's what got me excited. Like, could you imagine them both just playing Loki and Thor forever until they stopped? They couldn't do it anymore. Like that'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Could you? Like, it would be so great. Like, because like they've done it the entire way, so why not have them keep doing it?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't. They don't have to be like super action. I mean, I guess with Thor maybe, but like, I don't. I don't know. I guess I'm just fanboying over Loki. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, I think we're on a good track. I'm
Oh,
kind of
absolutely.
skeptical of time travel because
Well, they need to.
as
Time travel
Go
is very iffy.
yeah,
So
especially
they need to get it. I don't think they need to get it perfect, but like if it doesn't make
just-
any sense, it's like, oh god, please
they need
don't.
to make sure they take notes from X-Men and don't fuck it the fuck up. You know, like
Yeah, X-Men is.
I
too
really don't want
confusing.
another X-Men terribleness where it's just gonna be time travel's confusing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Marvel's on a good track. I think Star Wars. We'll talk. I think we should talk a lot about Star Wars next episode.
Yeah.
but
Next
Star Wars,
episode is like Star Wars dedicated in my mind.
I think so too. I'm like super excited for what's going on with Star Wars right now,
Yes.
especially with the Bad Batch and the Mandalorian, and then eventually, shout out to Obi-Wan. But yeah.
Please don't forget Ahsoka. That show's gonna be killer.
Oh, I know. I hadn't got there yet. That was the next one I was gonna say.
Okay. All right.
I think the live action person is the voice actor, correct?
No. Unfortunately, the live action person is not played by the voice actor, which I believe her name is like Ashley Eckenstein.
I still think the lady who played Ahsoka was a good actor.
Yeah. In the
I think she.
what the hell is her name? No. I was about to say Zoe Saldana, but that's Marvel Guardians character Gamora. No, Rosario Dawson. And then yeah, so Rosario Dawson is the live action portrayal. Ashley Eckstein or Eckstein is the voice actress for Ahsoka.
I think speaking of Marvel there with the Guardians of the Galaxy, I think I'm kind of interested in what they're gonna do with that because I know.
Well,
They-
Thor's gonna be in the third Guardians movie as well.
Yeah, and is the Gamora from the old timeline?
Yeah, it's
There-
the old timeline. Gamora is now canon.
See, like that makes no sense
Why not?
because technically Tony Stark got rid of all of I mean, I guess maybe only Thanos and Thanos' troops, but like, doesn't that like fuck with the timeline? And why didn't that make a branch in the timeline? And Like,
I don't know, man. I'm not gonna
but I guess
strain
that's
myself too much over
see, like
this.
this is what the problem is that the time travel and timelines is gonna make it confusing
Yeah.
because of this. Like now, like at the end there of Loki, they were the Miss what's her name? What's the clock's name? Whatever name, the ghost.
I
Fuck you,
don't
ghost.
I don't
Dude,
remember.
there Korg, you know,
Get
there's a meme with
lost,
Korg.
Ghost.
Get lost, ghost. And it's just are those piss off ghosts, and with with the clock there. But I think the clock there at the end said that like everything that was supposed to happen happened because he wanted to happen that way. So I mean, maybe going back into time, it's just confusing. I don't know. I'm confused.
I just
And
for the sake of
I
it, I
think
just
his name is Kang now. I think it's official that his name is Kang because I
yeah.
see a lot of people just saying that he is Kang.
Yeah, I'm like
Um,
99% sure it's Kang.
uh, again, I don't know anything really about Marvel. I just know what I've watched. So, uh, I'm excited. I think
Hmm.
Marvel's gonna be good. Star Wars is gonna be good. I think at some point, not to throw some rumors out there, but I think at some point we're supposed to get a Lord of the Rings TV show from Amazon at some point. I don't know if
Hmm.
that's this year or maybe next year, but I'm looking forward to that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think this, I think we're in for a good haul of at least entertainment wise. Don't know about if the world can, stop being in a pandemic. That'd be great, but
Ideal,
takes all of
ideal.
us.
Yeah,
Takes
ideal.
all of us.
Yep, it certainly does.
On that note, I think we had a great day here talking about the ending of the season. Shout out to the
Hmm.
Bucks.
Hmm.
Feel bad for Chris Paul. That man still deserves a ring at some point. I really think before he retires, needs to get one.
Hmm.
Um, and I think Marvel and Star Wars are going to be are in a great spot to be, some pretty good, Disney stuff. Because shout out to Monopoly. Uh, but yeah. So is there anything else you'd like to say, Sam?
Uh, not really. Other than just thanks for listening. Uh,
Mhm.
remember to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you thought about the NBA season this year. I know, uh, probably for the quote unquote casual fan base, and I'm not trying to single anybody out. This was I don't know. I don't know. Just because, like, I'm a diehard NBA fan, so it's like this was really interesting for me because I got to see two smaller market. I mean, Phoenix isn't like a super small market, but got to see a
Bucks are
small market
definitely not.
team win the
Yeah.
NBA Finals. So, like,
Hmm.
and like the Lakers weren't super prominent. The Nets were out in the second round. So, like, what were your overall thoughts about the NBA playoffs? Because I loved it, but who knows?
I just, as a casual fan, I just enjoyed watching good basketball.
Mm hmm. Mm
The refs are the refs. You can't really do much about it, but watching how the players played was pretty good.
hmm. Mm hmm. Yep.
And if you guys, on the note of liking and subscribing, if you want to follow us on Twitter at BS Podcast 2,
Mm hmm.
um,
Two. Number
you
two.
go ahead and the number 2. Yep. Follow us over there. That's where I leave any updates or when the next episode drops
Yep.
because just you never know with life.
Yep.
Just follow us on over there. Subscribe to here on YouTube. Uh, but yeah, I really appreciate your guys' time. Thank you for watching and have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.
Bye.